anytime somebody does their first record, I mean, it's always quite an undertaking. And the thing I've found in common from talking to so many people over the years is how much work truly goes into a recording. I mean, and what people see on the shelves, or what people can nowadays, obviously they can listen to tons of music online or on their iPhone or their iPad, but the process and how long it takes from the conceptualization of the songs themselves, the writing of the songs, the arranging, to getting the band together, to getting the CD produced, the whole process from the birth of the CD to when it actually is made public, as you now know from having put a lot of effort into 26 years, it's a long process, and you probably have a new appreciation now for the music business in general, and for artists. You just dropped the name of one of the greatest of all time, Stevie Wonder, who's recorded, I don't know how many recordings, but obviously he's made a pretty good living doing it. I mean, you've done one album, and even just doing one album, I would think that, were you prepared for how much work was going to go into it?
I knew it was going to be crazy and hectic. I really wasn't prepared for what it was, but I could tell you that it was an unbelievable process, and I absolutely loved every minute of it. It's just one of those things that you just do, and when you're doing it, it was some of the best evenings of my life, going out to the studio to record. And the craziest thing is, I'm a school teacher during the day, and I do this. Obviously my passion is what I do and what I concentrate my life on. But for the album, I was actually going to work, teaching all day, and then driving out to Long Island to record, because that's where the studio was, on weeknights. And then I'd get back home and then have to wake up the following morning to go back to work. So it was definitely a labor of love, and the album itself couldn't have been any better with the people that are on it. I was very fortunate to have my mentor and one of my teachers, Frank Elmo, perform on the album with me. And, just going out, riding out with him to the studio was just a great time, because, we reflected on all the years of lessons and teaching and working. And then to sit in the studio and watch him do his thing was just absolutely magnificent. And then, one of the best moments in my life was having my father in the studio with me, because he was a garage band type player, not much formal lessons playing guitar, but always loved music, always, like I said, always had it be a part of his life. So, when I came downstairs one morning and I gave him a book, and he asked me what it was, and I said, well, this is your music for the album. I thought he was going to cry. It was one of the best moments I could do for him, considering all that he's done for me. And sitting in the studio with him and just having fun, just joking back and forth and making him do take after take, and it was a beautiful, beautiful thing. And then, of course, getting to record with Kenny Simmons, a former Commodore, with Lionel Richie, Grammy Award-winning vocalist, that I'll never trade in that experience. That was just, it was one of the things that you just look back on, and you're very thankful that you were able to have that experience.
Well, yeah, listen, Nick, I mean, I'll be the first to admit to you that, look, this is my first exposure to you and your music, and I wasn't very familiar with a lot of the guys in your band, but just seeing who some of these people have collaborated with in the past, like seeing, Kenny Simmons with the Commodores, seeing Sting's name affiliated with Frank Elmo, and Freddie Maxwell, I guess, having done some work with Alicia Keys. I mean, so
yeah.
you've got some people in your band who these are not rookie musicians. I mean, these are guys who have worked with some major people. I mean, Kenny with the Commodores, obviously. I mean, that speaks for itself. So it obviously helps. I mean, yes, it's your name on the marquee. It's your name. It's the Nick Stefanacci Band, and I know you take a lot of pride in having your name at the head of the band, but you know full well that when it's showtime, it's like a sporting event. It's a team effort, and everybody's got to do their part, and I'm sure you felt that way that night at the bitter end when you and the whole band brought the CD to life. And I would imagine that night, January 29th of the bitter end, you touched on it briefly, but the energy in the bitter end that night, I imagine you were able to feed off the crowd, and it was probably a pretty electric night.
Oh, definitely. Like I say, at the end of all of our shows, I take 2 minutes and I thank all the band members because, like you said, they are industry elites and they're giants at their craft. And every time that I'm allowed to step on stage with them and play my music, it's one of the best feelings I think anybody could ever have. So the energy that night was it was through the roof because everybody's been working on this project and coming to rehearsals and putting the time in to learn the stuff because these songs they're not simple. They're complex melodies, they're complex phrases. So it's such a beautiful thing, getting to perform with these guys because like you said, they've been there and done it and been around the block, more times than I have years on this planet,
Right.
So
Right.
It's just an honor to work with them, and I can't thank them enough for being a part of this project and wanting to work with me. That speaks volumes to me because obviously they like the music and they like the project, and that means more to me to have them support me and back me than anything else.
It's a family environment, no question about it. I mean, your bandmates are an extension of your family, and obviously there's certainly a great chemistry that you guys have. I wish I could ask you more about 26 years. I only actually, looking at the clock, have time to throw out one more question to you, and I have to ask you, this is kind of stepping away from the record, but